Rebbitzin. So Rebbitzin Chana Bracha Siegelbaum, a native of Denmark, is founder and director of Midreshet Beirut Bat Ayin, holistic Torah for women on the land. She holds a Bachelor of Education in Bible and Jewish Philosophy from Nicholah, Jerusalem College for Women, and a Master's of Art and Jewish History from Torah College. Rebbitzin Chana Bracha creates curricula emphasizing women's spiritual empowerment through traditional Torah values. She has published the following books: Women at the Crossroads, A Woman's Perspective on the Weekly Torah Portion, Ruth, Gleaning the Fallen Sparks, The Seven Fruits of the Land of Israel with Their Mystical and Medicinal Properties, Parsha Meditations for Spiritual Renewal and Strengthening Communication with the Creator, and my memoir, The Story of a Danish Jew Who Fled the Nazis. Rebbitzin practices Emunah healing as a gifted spiritual healer through Emunah, Tefillah, and energy work. Chana Bracha has a married son and several granddaughters and lives with her husband and younger son in the land of the Judean Hills, Israel. I'm very honored to introduce to you the Rebbitzin. Thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it and sharing your beautiful Torah with us. I'm going to put myself on mute and you can.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Naomi, for inviting me. I'm always excited to get out, and I used to come on my annual international speaking tours to Toronto, and Toronto used to be one of my favorite places. And so I'm glad to have this opportunity, at least to visit with you virtually. And also I'm very impressed that you have such an amazing big group of women doing Tehillim, such an early hour for you. And Nishmat Kol Chai, I really believe that women like you're going to bring the Geula B'Srat Hashem, like you. It's very inspiring. So keep it going. And I'm happy to help give you a few words about Tu B'Shvat that's coming up tomorrow night, Wednesday night. And first of all, like, what is this holiday about? It's a holiday that people didn't really know so much about or didn't celebrate very much in the past. Those two holidays, Tu B'Shvat and Tu B'Av, 6 exact months afterwards. The masculine is the Tu B'Shvat and Tu B'Av is the feminine. They have received a revival in our time because this is the time of the Geula. These two holidays are holidays of Geula. The difference between, let's say, a Tu B'Shvat Seder and Pesach Seder is that the Pesach celebrates the past redemption from Egypt, whereas Tu B'Shvat anticipates the future redemption from all exiles and the final Geula. So what is the main thing? There's a few things that Tu B'Shvat is about. One thing is something that become very popular in the last few decades, and I was, Baruch Hashem, one of the pioneers in that, in conducting Tu B'Shvat Seders, like maybe I did it 35 years ago already, when nobody was doing it. No one had heard what that was. And now it's like it's such a big thing. Today, it used to be something of the Arizal students who started it in the 16th century. And it was only among very few elitist Kabbalist people, but now it's been widespread and everyone is having a Tu B'Shvat Seder. I'm really happy about that. So I don't mind the competition. So that's only one of the components of Tu B'Shvat. The other component is to renew our relationship with nature. And a third component is to renew new Torah Chidushim, because the tree and the holiday of the birthday of the tree is also a metaphor for the Torah, which is called the tree of life. And the fruits of the tree are like the Torah Chidushim, the new Torah ideas that we are able to reveal on Tu B'Shvat, and that we were given in potential in Rosh Hashanah. And so it's the same rhythm as the trees, which on Rosh Hashanah, they receive their sustenance for the year, but it starts to be revealed. The beginning of the revelation is on Tu B'Shvat with the almond tree blossoming, at least synchronized to the climate of Eretz Israel, the Holy Land. And another concept is the connection with the Holy Land. And that's actually what's written in Halakha. If you look at Mishnah Brura, it will say on Tu B'Shvat, it's a minhag to eat fruits from the land of Israel. And that's why a lot of people have minhag to eat dried fruits on Tu B'Shvat. It's not like you need to eat dried fruit specifically, but if you live in exile, you can't really get fresh fruits from Israel. And in addition, since it's only the beginning of the revelations of the fruit, you can't really get so many fresh fruits at this time. So, okay, so let's continue. So I just want to make it clear all the different topics. There's many. So I'll start, and I only have 10 minutes. So I'll start a little bit, just a tiny little glimpse. And if you want more, email me, because I did put my email here, and you can also order beautiful Tu B'Shvat placemats received via email. My email is here to everyone. So now I'm just going to give you a tiny little pearl. So Tu B'Shvat Seder, what is that all about? So it says in the Mishnah of Rosh Hashanah, I believe it's the first Mishnah. Let me just consult my notes here. Be'echad b'Shvat Rosh Hashanah le'ilan, k'divrei Beit Shammai, Beit Hillel omrim ב-15 bo. So there is two opinions, whether Tu B'Shvat is on the 1st of Shvat, or whether Tu B'Shvat is on the 15th of Shvat, and that's what became accepted in Halakha. And this is the Mishnah Rosh Hashanah, Mishnah 1 in chapter 1. But the interesting thing that you will notice if you heard how I read it in Hebrew, that actually it's different. What the Mishnah is saying is a little bit different than a popular children's song. Tu B'Shvat higia chag le'ilanot, right? So Tu B'Shvat arrived, the holiday of the trees. But what does the Mishnah say? Holiday of the tree, in singular, not in plural. And from this, Rav Tzadok of Lublin learned that it's the specific tree, the tree of knowledge, that it's the birthday of the tree of knowledge, which means for us that we have the ability to rectify on Tu B'Shvat, specifically eating from the tree of knowledge. And as Rav Tzadok says, that tree was not necessarily a tree or not even a thing. It was a way of eating. So if you take the bite of the food in a very unconscious way, in a way of just grabbing pleasure to oneself rather than being in pleasure, there's a fine difference between grabbing, and you know it if you know it, how it feels when we're just eating like an Esav. And we know that also, according to Sefer Yetzirah, the book of formation, one of the first Kabbalistic books that we have, each month has a specific sense, and the sense of Shvat is eating, not taste. It's different kinds of senses, but specifically eating. So the whole month of Shvat is all about rectifying eating. So in the Tu B'Shvat Seder, that's exactly what we do. That we look at all the fruits. And I'm not going to explain how to conduct a Tu B'Shvat Seder. I can't do that in 2 minutes, but I have everything written down for anyone interested. And I also have an online Seder tomorrow night that people can still register for. So the first thing is we look at the fruits. We meditate on them. We revel in their beauty. We don't just grab. Then we read psukim, Torah verses that pertain to each of the fruits before we bite into it. And so this brings us back to the perfected state of the Garden of Eden before eating from the tree of knowledge, because we used to eat there holy letters of the Torah. That was the sustenance. Like it says, Man does not live of bread alone, except of everything that emanates from the mouth of God. Those are the holy sparks. And they are also the holy letters of the Hebrew alphabet that created the whole entire world, as it says in the Zohar, that Hashem looked into the Hebrew alphabet, and he created the world through these letters. So when we say and recite Torah verses and then eat the particular fruit that we just said a Torah verse about, it's like we're reinfusing the eating with Torah. And so that is a way of doing mindful eating. And then we eat really slowly, we chew really, really carefully, what's really amazing is that my personal experience is if you eat mindfully in Tu B'Shvat and you don't eat necessarily a lot, you have one olive, one date, one fig, a couple of raisins, a few nuts, but not a whole lot. But when you eat mindfully and slowly, you come out of the Tu B'Shvat Seder completely filled. You don't feel hungry. It's like your dinner, even though in my midrashah, the girl said, no, we have to make another dinner after the Tu B'Shvat Seder, just in case people are still hungry. I said, okay, fine, soup and bread, but like really the Tu B'Shvat Seder can be so fulfilling. We need to eat much less when we eat mindfully. I see my time is up, so I just want to repeat the other topics that we did not have time to touch upon. So there is the Tu B'Shvat Seder. There is the connection with Eretz Yisrael. Eat a fruit from Eretz Yisrael, or come to my Zoom Seder that you will surely connect to Eretz Yisrael and the countryside of Bat Ayin in the midst of the beautiful, serene Judean hills. And then there is the connection with nature, like to contemplate on that we're not just here to subjugate nature, we're also here to live in harmony with nature, whatever that means for each of you. And usually there is a new minhag, which is only started in the 19th century, of planting trees on Tu B'Shvat, specifically in Eretz Yisrael. Is not a minhag that's written any place in any of our sources, but it's a beautiful minhag, a way to reconnect with nature. And then, we try to do that. We're going to plant a jasmine, which is also considered a tree, actually. We need one right in front of our classroom so that when you come in, there's the beautiful scent of jasmine, and it will be like a trellis on top of the wall of our Bet Midrash. So we have saved waited for Tu B'Shvat to plant this jasmine. And we have other workshops about herbology, about connecting with nature on Tu B'Shvat and what it means, and how, because it's not by chance that Hashem created us originally in a garden. He could have created us in a shooting stars. He could have created us in a submarine, yellow or not yellow, but he chose to create us originally in a garden, which means that the garden is a place that's most suitable for connecting with God. Like Rambam says, when you go out into nature, you can recognize God through the beautiful flowers. You can feel in harmony. You can feel closer to Hashem. You hear the birds sing. That's what I do, Baruch Hashem, every day. I always like to pray outside. Yes, this is my email, director@berotbatayin.org. And you're welcome to email me if you're interested in my online Tu B'Shvat Seder, or if you're interested in the Tu B'Shvat placemats that I could send via PDF. Or if you're interested in online midrashah that we have ongoing online midrashah every day from 9 a.m. East to 1:10 p.m. East every day. And we have lots of things going on. Yes, I really hope to continue to hear from you. And the last thing we didn't touch upon too much was about Tu B'Shvat being the day of the renewal of the Torah. And this is also because Moshe Rabbeinu, he renewed the whole entire Torah in the month of Shvat. And that's what it says in the beginning of the book of Dvarim, which is Moshe's repetition of the Torah, which brings renewal to the Jewish people when he told over the whole entire Torah in the book of Dvarim called Mishnah Torah. He told it over during the whole entire month of Shvat and the 6 first days of Adar until he passed away on Zayin Adar, on the 7th Adar. So, okay, so I think that's all the time that I'm allotted today. If Naomi allows, I could take a question or two. That's up to you. Okay, I have okay, I can send you, when you email me, a link to how to order my book about the 7 fruits. That's 7 fruits of the land of Israel with their mystical and medicinal properties. And that won 2 awards. The best way to give us the most royalties is not to order it through Amazon, but to order it through Korin, because it goes through less hands that way. And, you know, each hand, everyone takes their cut. So that's the best way to order it. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for the Rebbitzin? Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody like to ask the Rebbitzin any questions about Tu B'Shvat? No, there's no questions?
And it's so nice to see you. I recognize some of the name, Rita and Ziel Mitzman from Muncie, actually. Esther Gabai, Leslie, my friends here, Yael, and Chaimak Abramson from the Old City. Okay, not everybody I recognize, but I may know you. But
okay, thank you, Rebbitzin. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful.
My pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity. Bring me again. I can teach about almost every topic, you know, not quite, but close. Okay. So not just Tu B'Shvat. So email me and we'll be in touch. All the best.
Thank you so much, Rebbitzin. Thank you so much.
Okay, goodbye and Tu B'Shvat Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.